Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast, Read, Watch, Listen. My name is Chris Barnes. I'm from East Brunswick Public Library. Today we have a very special guest. It's Paul Kibala. He is a librarian in our Adult Services Department. So Paul, tell us a little bit about what you do.
I work reference. I help with our ESL programming. I buy the books for the library. That includes ESL, foreign language books, of which we have 7 languages within that, and large print books. I run the book group, the main book group at the library, which is actually starting September 9th and running every second Thursday of the month. And that's through June, I believe. We run for 10 months, second Thursday. The first month, September 9th, we are reading Dear Mrs. Bird. So if anybody's interested, please come by.
I was going to say, I've heard under good authority that you're considered the king of the book discussion group here in East Brunswick. So do you agree with that?
Claudia ran the book group here. Claudia's still here, but she ran the book group for 20 years or so. When I took over, I considered it the ultimate sign of me doing an okay job, in that nobody seemed to quit when I took over. Out of all the people that could have quit, nobody did. So that's what a sign of respect. And they probably didn't even intend it to be. It just, I took it to be one, you know?
Oh yeah, that's the greatest show of flattery, that you've arrived, that it's a seamless transition.
Like in was in Futurama. In Futurama, they say if you do something right, it'll seem like nothing's been done at all. Nobody will notice the difference at all.
Like on Cheers when they switched over to Kirstie Alley.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Seamless transition.
Seamless transition. Getting back to the podcast, it's called Read, Watch, Listen, and we talk about the media that we've been enjoying. A lot of it you can find here physically at the library, or you can find it in our various ebook services like Hoopla, eLibrary New Jersey, Libby, you name it. So let's start out with this one. What have you been reading lately?
Reading. All right. So on Hoopla, I've been to a few national parks, and on Hoopla, I want to plug this specifically about Hoopla because they have this national parks guide. So over the past few years, when I've been to different national parks, I'll check it out. I have the Hoopla app on my phone, and I'll check out every time I go. It's a great resource for updating me on which park I'm in and what there is to do there. So it's a perfect thing for that. I also read The Disaster Artist on there recently. I know the movie came out maybe a few years back, but the book was much better, I thought. And if anybody, have you watched the movie or read the book?
I haven't, but it's on my to-do list of things to watch at some point.
Okay. Well, obviously you know The Room. I guess we should update the people about The Room. If they don't know, it's the tagline is the worst movie ever made. And this is about the making of the worst movie ever made from the viewpoint of one of the lead actors in the movie, and about how hilariously terrible the production was. Not in the sense that it was really awful. It was more a comedy of errors. So witnessing it through his eyes, I mean, as somebody who didn't know what he was getting into, it's hilarious. I must say, a must read.
Okay. Now, my question for you is, now having you seen both the movie and the book version, which one's better, book or movie?
So it's usually going to be the book. In this case, I'd go with the book again. Not too often is it the movie, but when it is, I just feel I never anticipate it being the movie that's better. Mm-hmm. But when it is, I always get so happy that it is, because I never see it coming. With something like Fight Club or The Godfather or something like that, it's amazing to watch because I don't anticipate it.
Speaking of watching things, what would you recommend for someone to watch?
Hoopla is a great resource. They have this tremendous back catalog where it seems like you're never going to know what's actually on there. I would encourage people who want to watch something on any of these platforms. There's a website called justwatch.com. Plug any show or movie you want into there, and then it'll tell you where you can find it streaming online. So that's what I did recently. I wanted to watch Some Like It Hot, the 1950s comedy with Marilyn Monroe and Jack Lemmon. And it was on Hoopla, and I had no idea it was going to be on there. It's just an amazing movie. It has this pace of a modern film where I find that a lot of older films are kind of a slog, but Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis, I believe, just amazing. Yeah, just amazing comedic actors. There's a joke a minute. It's so funny. If anybody hasn't seen it or hasn't seen it in a while, it's worth revisiting.
I have a theory on those older movies.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So, because they were literally putting that on film, and film is really expensive, I think they kept the pacing of movies back then much quicker, whereas now it's all recorded digitally, so they don't care how long something's going to be. Whereas before, they're like, well, if this gag goes an extra 30 seconds, that's
It's
a lot of
costing
money
us
we're
so
spending.
much money. You're right.
Yeah, so they just cut it out. That's a great movie. It's a classic one. And I think a lot of those movies don't get enough love in modern times because there's just so much. All right. And last, we're going to talk about, what have you been listening to lately?
Oh, I actually didn't have anything that I've been listening to. Yeah, sorry. I have a lot of things I've been watching, though, if we want to hit on more things.
Let's get a bonus watch.
Yeah, bonus watch. I watched Coco recently on Disney Plus, and a lot of these Disney films, I understand the formula. It's comedy, it's drama, it's music, it's fun for the whole family, and you see it coming a mile away. But for some reason, Coco was just so good, and it was so funny that I did not intend to be moved in that way by a Disney film, and I totally was. And I was laughing out loud during the film, too, so it was amazing.
There's a very interesting, very dark subplot storyline going on that you forget about times, and then when there's a lull in the film, you're like, oh no, there's some pretty heavy stuff going on in this movie.
Exactly. It does it in a way that is so much less in your face than other Disney movies, I guess would be the way to put it, where it's so much better done. It feels like the plotting is so much better, and the whole Day of the Dead cultural aspect and how they incorporate different colors and themes through that is really interesting. So I would definitely recommend that one. It's excellent. Yeah.
That's definitely a good film that gets 2 thumbs up. It's a great second bonus watch. That's going to wrap us up here on Read, Watch, Listen from the EBPL Podcast Network. Make sure you subscribe. We're on all the major podcasting platforms, or you can listen online at anchor.com/EBP Library. This is produced and edited by Melissa Hosick, and for more information, check us out at ebpl.org. I'm Chris Barnes. Thanks.